welcome back to the GSTL with Caldor and Wolf. Today we've got a special treat. We have Prime against StarTale. That should be an epic match. I don't even know if words can do it justice, man.
Yeah, that would be really, really great. I'm actually looking forward to this match today, and it's kind of surprising to me. We have seen Sasa earlier on the bench of StarTale. I actually thought that he would train for his Code A qualifier games. He's playing tomorrow, and I talked to him a little bit, so he's not quite sure if he's going to play, but I would actually love to see a foreigner participate in the GSTL.
Yeah.
We have another couple of really good players today, and besides Sasa, I'm really looking forward to see Maru Prime playing. I really hope that he will be making an appearance later on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not only that, of course, our big stars like Bomber and Marine King, for example, I'm sure will be making some appearances, or at least they should be. We'll see some stats here. You can see Prime's Team League results not quite as extensive as StarTale's, but even so, they've been winning a lot more recently. And of course, they were the GSTL Season 1 of 2011 runner-ups.
The captains for Prime, we have Anyong, and for StarTale, we have July. It's going to be a pretty cool day, and yeah, it's going to be very nice, and not only about the up-and-comers, but also, as we said, the big guns for both teams.
You can see the distribution of both teams in Code A, etc. And you can see that StarTale's a lot of players in Code B, not as many Code A players as Prime, but it's fairly even. Both, you know, having, for example, StarTale has 3 players in Code S, and Prime only has 1, but it's a fairly even distribution. Look at the roster total, though. 15 players on StarTale and only 10 on Prime, so a little bit more depth to the Prime roster, to be perfectly honest.
Yep. And well, guys, besides the GSTL today, we also have the Code A qualifier going on, and we'll make sure that we keep you posted. The Code A qualifier, the first group is currently ongoing, so we have there's one group in the morning and another group in the evening. We have a couple of results just to keep you posted. Qualified for Code A are already TSL Symbol and MVP Finale. We already had a couple of upsets, especially for the foreigner scene once again. And Slog, he was eliminated in round 3 by TSL Revival with 2-0. Todd was not able to make it as well. He had to face Tails in the second round and lost with 2-0. So a couple of upsets already, and as soon as we get new results, we'll tell you about it.
Yep. And of course, here are our 2 teams. Marine King with his big thermal take headset. There's Sase walking in, and of course, the rest of his StarTale teammates. Of course, for those of you wondering why Sase is on the bench, StarTale is partnered with Quantic, and because they announced this before the GSTL started, they were able to put Sase on the roster, so he's able to participate here. And Naniwa as well is on the roster, but unable to participate today. There's Gerard, the coach of the Prime, getting his team ready, getting them pumped up.
Yeah, talking about Naniwa, I've been talking to him a little bit, and he's been laddering like crazy last few days. He told me that the last 3 days he played like 12 hours a day, and it's kind of insane. He tweeted today that he needs more Red Bull or more coffee, something to stay alive.
He's almost practicing as much as the Koreans now.
He's getting really intense.
And here's our StarTale team. Trying to get focused, get pumped as well.
And kind of a side note, something we didn't mention yet is our opening players today. It's going to be Tyrius, aka Bumblebee, against Curious. And the first match will be ZVZ, therefore it will take place on Belcher Beach.
Yeah, and that's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. Very rare to have a ZVZ opener. And for the reason simply that very few teams feel comfortable putting a Zerg out first, because you just never really know who you're going to be up against. And most players don't have that star Zerg they feel like using first. Most Zerg players who are good actually end up being closing players, but not opening players. So we're going to take a look at our Prime team members. Now here he is, Anyong Prime, the captain of Prime team.
Followed by another Zerg. Boom Boom! Boom Boom Prime, another strong Zerg player. For the Prime team, here's our opener today, the first player. It is Bumblebee.
Salmoza, another Zerg, very new player to Prime. Marine King, everyone knows that guy.
That's a hairstyle even I would recognize.
And Ghost King, formerly known as Beyond.
And here we have Maru, up-and-coming Terran player, pretty strong. We might see him today, 14 years old.
creator. Very young and powerful Protoss. And Core, formerly on ZeNEX. ZeNEX player. And here is Classic Prime. Oh man, look at Classic. I don't know, I just saw Classic and I was like, that's a... It's like, I don't know, it was crazy. I don't know. It's like when I saw STC yesterday, I was like, I was in awe. You can see our win distribution by race. You can see Terran only at 44%, and a lot of that is due to Marine King's failure for his team. He did do much better this year than last year so far. We'll see how well he can do. There's Bjorn. Curious to see if Bjorn will come out. I haven't seen him play since the scandal on the ESB weekly match.
In the middle you have Maru. He was the reason why Morrow was, well, lost in Code A against the young Terran player. He's doing pretty well. He's one of the few players that I'm really looking forward to today. I mean, obviously, it's always a pleasure to see Marine King play. Sasa is one of the players in the StarTale roster that I would love to see in today's GSTL. But Maru is still, I really want to see if he can live up to the expectations.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see as well. July put an arm around Sase.
Looks like he's about to crush him.
There he is.
The captain.
July, one of the older players. And here's Curious, our starter for today.
The ZVZ Codes rank 9. We have Bomber as well. One of the few players that was able to pull an all-kill this season already. StarTale Virus, another Terran player. The StarTale team.
Sound.
Playing pretty well at the Home Story Cup 4.
There's Hack, formerly a ZeNEX player.
Hack actually means nuke in Korean.
Yep. And there's Ace. He's been around a while. And of course, Squirtle. A lot of fans for Squirtle apparently here in the audience. And Harding, one of the biggest up-and-comers in StarCraft 2 right now.
Terran killer.
There's Sase.
Yeah, he kind of had to laugh when you pulled that off. That's more of an Aniwa gesture right there. Yeah, the Swedes. Looking pretty cool.
Yep. Well, I'm really curious to see who's going to come out here today for StarTale. Parting making a big face. He's pulling an STC. I really want to see Parting play actually today. That's who I want to see the most. I would like to see Sase as well, but Parting, man.
I would love to see Parting.
I really want to see if
Parting against Marine King.
Oh, that would be sick.
That would be really, really sick.
We just like keep getting shots. Parting's making funny faces. July, you can't stop laughing, man. Ace is like, no wait, that's my job. Excuse me, I'm the one who makes funny faces on camera.
It actually looks like if July goes for an elbow check for Sasa, Sasa would fall off right off the bench. Obelix style.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm really excited to get into our first match, and I think we're going to take a look at our players. As we already mentioned for Prime, we're going to have Terius, aka Bumblebee, as our starter. Very strong Zerg. And he's ranked 44th in GSL right now. His team league record is 1-2. Very few games played. But a solid starter for them, I would say. Not putting too much out there by just starting with Bumblebee here. You can see he normally performs best when coming out third. And this also shows that with these 3 percentages, you can deduce that he's come out 3 different times in 3 different team league games. He's never played more than once.
He looks a little bit nervous right now.
Yeah, he does. It looks like he's trying to calm himself down.
I talked a little bit to JYP when we were at Assembly, and I asked him if he's actually still nervous when he plays on the GSTL, when he's in the, if he plays for GSL, when he's in the booth on camera, and he says that, yeah, like still when you have a lot of experience being on camera, always makes you very, very nervous.
Yeah. Now, Curious is a guy who never gets nervous. He's said in interviews time and time again, he removes his emotions from the game. That's why he often looks like this when he's in his booth, just like a stone cold killer. He's trying not to smile even right now.
Someone putting the funniest joke ever, and she was like, "Don't laugh, don't laugh." Well, I can't help it.
He's you know, very, very focused. I really like how Curious can. You know, Curious is one of those players who makes very few mistakes as far as micro goes.
Curious was actually one of the first players that I casted in the GSL. Curious against Ganji on Antigua Shipyard. I'll never forget this game. It was really, really great. And this is kind of interesting. 50% of all rooms.
Yeah. And I feel like, to be perfectly honest, for this matchup, Curious is favored. I just feel he's going to make fewer mistakes, and he's got more experience. We'll see how Bumblebee does against him. However, on Belshire Beach, the map is loaded. Are you ready, Caldor?
I definitely am.
All right, let's jump into the game.
Let's get this started. Ladies and gentlemen, the GSTL with Caldor Wolf. Belcher Beach, Prime against StarTale into the top left of the map in the red color. We have our first Zerg player, the opening player for the Prime team. It is
Bumblebee, Prime!
Formerly known as Tyrius. Looks a little bit nervous, but definitely he will try to take down his opponent, who starts at the bottom right of the map. For StarTale in the blue color, we have none other than
StarTale! Curious!
And while we're waiting for the build orders to unfold, just to give you a couple of statistical data on both these players. We have Bumblebee with 17 competitive games in total and a win ratio of 59% in ZVZ. Curious, on the other hand, played 25 competitive games in mirror matchups, and he won 68% of them. So only a small sample size for both of those players, but due to the statistics, Curious right now is a little bit favored.
Absolutely. I mean, I just feel with how much experience he has as well under his belt, he's just got so much. Oh, look at this. It was an aggressive move by Bumblebee to try to block his opponent's hatchery. I think he felt his opponent would hatch first. That's why he drone scouted. And it also was safe for him because he could scout an early pool if that was the case and change his builder accordingly, as he planned on, of course, going for hatchery first as well. Gas before pool going down for Curious, and we'll see if Bumblebee follows suit. He does, just a little bit behind. And gets a few extra drones out before getting his spawning pool. He's allowed to do that because he scouted his opponent's going hatch first, whereas our StarTale player Curious does not yet know that, so he has to make the pool before droning up. So I think the early drone scout definitely paid off in some ways.
On Belcher Beach, you have those two really big ramps, and that's one of the reasons why we see a lot of banelings usually in this matchup before the road transition starts. And as Wolf just mentioned, well, the StarTale player is a little bit ahead. Curious, Bumblebee lost a bit of mining time because he sent out this early drone. So he has the scouting information. At the same time, he lost a little bit of mining.
I really feel we may see mutas on this map. It's a good map for mutas in general, and with the way this game often plays out with banelings for a long period of time, as you were mentioning, it really, sometimes one player just decides, alright, I'm going to Spire, you're sticking with Zerglings really long, I'm just going to defend and get Spire. You see, drones have been pulled out of gas, keeping him inside though for Terius right now. And, you know, Terius started his queens a little bit later than his opponent, as well as Zerglings speed. Those two things can really make a big difference.
Yeah, they can indeed. We have now Prime and, well, the Prime player and the StarTale player doing basically exactly the same. There's already the Baneling Nest now for Curious, so he's starting right with the Baneling Nest, while Bumblebee is going for the Spine Crawler. He wants to play a little bit more defensive in this game, but I guess that at some point he will definitely have to get a bunch of Banelings out on the map as well. It's kind of interesting that we have two Zerglings hiding at the top right of the expansion of Bumblebee, so if he's not able to spot them, there might be two Banelings headed into the mineral line, and that could do a lot of damage.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's not going to see them in time. There's no way for him to spot them. Unless he physically goes to check, you know, manually, but he won't do that.
He has no reason to do it.
Yeah, he has no reason to believe that there's Zerglings there. He just missed it. And this is going to be so smart. He will kill at least 4 or 5 drones with this, without a doubt.
The only thing how Bumblebee could actually defend against it is if he really sees them immediately upon walking onto creep. So that's the only reason that he has, the only chance that he has, sorry.
Oh, but he's going to be distracted by... Remember, the Zergling speed just a few seconds ahead, just as I mentioned, comes into play, and boom!
Oh my god. Ouch. That was 7. 7 drones killed.
Look at that.
Awesome.
Just goes to show you how Zergling speed being 2 or 3 seconds ahead can make all the difference in the world.
Brilliant move by Curious. That was really, really well played. Bumblebee with a light upset early on already. Well, let's face it, it's not a slight upset. He is really behind now.
Yeah, it's 31 drones to 25. The baneling count fairly even between these players, but now Curious has control of how this game is going to be shaped. He's got an evolution chamber on the way. He's taking a second extractor now. And both players droning heavily, but Curious already in the lead. He's actually going to perhaps put some more aggression on here at the front. I'm not sure how much I like this.
He's already going for the +1 attack upgrade for his range units though, so he definitely... Oh my god. Wow. A little bit of a misstep here by Bumblebee, once again losing a bunch of his lings, and this is really bad. This is really bad right now. Bumblebee is just losing way too much. He can't put any aggression onto Curious whatsoever, and the StarTale player now in the position where he can transition into roaches already.
Wow, he's killed a few more drones.
Attack upgrade is halfway done. This is...
He killed even a few more drones, but surprisingly so, Terius remains ahead 43 to 40.
Yeah, but he had to sacrifice all those lava for it. He doesn't have any units right now. He lost more than his opponent. His roach tech is later, and he doesn't have the +1 upgrade being researched.
He doesn't have Lair on the way either.
So that is definitely, he's definitely behind.
Yeah, he's just now taking his second extractor. He is way behind in gas. He will not have the production that Curious has. Curious is pulling way ahead. Just so early in the game, he's getting this far ahead. It's going to be almost impossible for Terius to catch up. His Lair tech has started, but you know, as we were mentioning, it's just so far behind.
Bumblebee definitely needs a very, very good engagement right now. If he's lucky with a couple of moves, maybe gets an edge in the positioning later on in the first fight, then he might get back into this game. But for now, with a +1 upgrade nearly done, we have Curious in a very good position. Bumblebee is already struggling a bit.
Oh, he's going to get into the main again and scout the timing of the Lair. I'm really actually disappointed in Terius' inability to stop these Zerglings from going into his main. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time this has happened this game. He's allowed Zerglings to get in his main, despite him having a oftentimes better Zergling count and a Spine Crawler.
What's going to be very interesting is also if Curious is able to well, benefit of his +1 attack upgrade, because he's faster than his opponent with the attack upgrade, but if he does not start +2 very soon, then Bumblebee might actually be able to catch up.
This hatchery's going to have to be cancelled, I think, for sure. There's no way. He didn't cancel it, though. No cancel on the hatchery. He's going to lose a Roach as well. Roach killing more Zerglings because it has a +1. So I was lucky for that Roach, but the Roach count getting better and better right now for Curious. 15 to 4. Both players with Roaches on the way, but Curious with significantly more.
The +2 attack upgrade has been started a little bit late for Curious, but still we don't even have +1 done for Bumblebee. So these upgrade advantages are exactly what he needs, and if he can engage with good timings, then he should have the edge over his opponent.
Yeah, and we'll see very soon if he's going to decide to just go for it now. He will be able to secure the 3rd base no matter what. I like his choice to move out now. He doesn't even have to attack, but he can force spines and just get that 3rd base up. He's getting his infestation pit now. He's just in great shape tech-wise. He can actually, if he finds the 3rd, he can definitely take it out.
Yeah, there's just no way that Bumblebee can defend against right now. Infestation pit has been built as well.
Oh, this is sick. He's setting up a nice flank. He's going to try to trap these Roaches. He misses it just barely.
No, actually doesn't.
No, he's going to set it up. He's going to set up a nice flank. He's going to trap these Roaches.
A little bit too overzealous. Was not able to get in there. Takes down the Morphing Baneling, and this expansion has to be cancelled. There's no way that Bumblebee can hold it. And yes, that's the cancel. Last second. And they are on 1-1 right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is exactly what we talked about. He kind of missed the timing where he had the advantage in upgrades. He only has the advantage in numbers right now. He needs to make sure that this engagement is ending in his favor. 27 Roaches against 20 now in favor of Curious. Bumblebee is losing a lot of Roaches. The reinforcements are attacked by the reinforcements of StarTale Curious.
Oh man, this is looking really good for Curious. He had the better concave in that initial engagement as well. And his +2 is getting very close to being done with more reinforcements streaming, and I think he actually may just have too much. He's going to force the cancel yet again on this hatchery. And no cancel.
Wow. The problem for Bumblebee is not only that he had to sack his expansion, but at the same time we have 3 bases for Curious, and we have Pathogen Glance done. Well, not really. In like 10 seconds it will be done, but +2 attack is about to finish. Pathogen Glance, he will have Infestors, he will have a 3rd base. This is just really heavy now on Bumblebee. This is just such an uphill battle. I don't think that he can recover from this. He's facing Roach Infestor right now, and he doesn't even have an Infestation Pit.
Yeah, his +2 is significantly behind. If Curious decided to push out right now, he could take advantage of that. Looks like he will try to take the Watchtower. A little bit of hesitation. And that has been kind of the case for Curious. He's missed a few very important timing windows that he is known about just from a little bit of hesitation, just not being quite sure if he wants to move out at certain times. But now I think the Roach count is going to explode here. He's gone up to 34 now. He did have to do a few rounds of drones to get that 3rd base saturated because it's been up for a while, but it hasn't been used. Now he can use that base for extra production. He can even make a macro hatchery if he wants to, and just way outproduce his opponent. The first 3 Infestors with energy are moving across the map now, and the Roaches of Terius are actually on the other side of the map, so this could be a little bit weird.
It's actually kind of funny to see how both players are moving across the map right now, always aware of their opponent's movements because of the Overlords. I feel like right now Curious should use a bunch of Infested Tyrants to kill the Overlords of his opponent.
He may decide to do just that. I'm looking, there's a lot of back and forth actually in the middle of the map, players deciding how they're going to posture. It looks like Curious wants to just play it safe and go back, and then as he does this, then Terius turns around. Now he's trying to force Terius back with this Roach attack, and a little bit of hesitation. Again, he's sending his Roaches in weird directions. He's sending only Infestors over here. What?
Nice Fungals though. We have 180 supply against 140. Another couple of Fungals hit the Roaches. And now Bumblebee has to fight, and he is going to lose. There's the GG as Curious just rips these Roaches to shreds.
And those Infestors were a gift that Terius could not refuse. There was a nice trap there. And a lot of back and forth movements in the middle of the map. And Bumblebee looking a little bit disappointed, but he played well. Curious just played better.
I think for Bumblebee, nerves were definitely an issue. He looked really intense before the game starts, and
oh, I can't quite read that.
Somebody please translate that. Look at him!
Something about MVP Keen. But
what the hell? Look at this guy! He's going crazy! I don't care what's on the shirt! Just look at it! He rips his shirt apart! How cool is that? Boss mode right there!
He didn't even play, man. That's just ace. He just came out. I don't know.
How awesome was that?
Yeah, I'm like actually speechless right now. I'm like, did that just happen?
That was brilliant. Runs out and rips his shirt by going Hulk on us. That was awesome. That was awesome. Let's give the guy another shirt. I want to see it again.
I'm sure he's actually got that planned. I don't think that's going to be the last shirt we see Ace.
It would have been really embarrassing if it was a really nice quality shirt and he tried to rip it apart and it didn't work and was just standing there in front of the camera, just trying.
That's when he pulls the scissors out and cuts it and then rips it.
Yeah, well, that was awesome. That was really awesome.
I don't know if you're talking about the shirt, if you're talking about the Curious's play, but let's talk about Curious's play.
I'm talking about the move, and I'm definitely sure that we will see a ton of GIFs about it.
We may, but
we will. And if I have to do it myself.
I just want to say, Curious played so safe with that game. You know, from the outset, Bumblebee scouted earlier, but we're going to take a 5-minute break. But before that, actually, we're going to have our player selection. There's a little bit of... Wasn't quite certain if we were going to take the player before, but it looks like it's going to be Maru! Oh, man.
Hell yeah. Bring out the kid.
Bringing out our young star. And Curious.
That's going to be good.
He has no comment. Oh man, recently Curious has been showing too much emotion. I liked it better when he just looked like a scary gorilla. Now he's just smiling sometimes. He's like that gorilla that's like, in the experiment that just smiles and like picks his nose, but like curious to pick his nose, but I don't know. I think you know what I mean. But here is Maru, ranked 37th in the GSL currently. Almost was able to get into Code S. In fact, he took out a lot of players on the way, and when he hit Nada, he just couldn't quite defeat Nada, but he actually had a few close moments in his games against Nada, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, he did, and it will be very interesting to see how he is doing against Zerg. He's actually one of those players that you guys should definitely watch out for if you don't know him just yet. 14 years old and one of the best newcomers that we have right now. He had some amazing results lately, not only at the GSL but also KSL, IGN Pro League. He played really, really well. So Maru, definitely watch out for this guy, and Curious should not take it lightly. Yeah, absolutely not. We'll see what kind of builds he's got planned. He's known for his all-ins on the ladder, but he can play a macro game. We'll see what he's got planned. It's not entirely clear just yet what the next map is either, so you guys will find out when we get back from this 5-minute break.